Kia ora, my name is Scott Taylor and I'm the PSA Southern Organiser based here in the Dunedin office. It gives me a great pleasure today to be joined by two of my site delegates, Deborah Hendry from the Access Community Health. Deborah's a support worker, and Lucy Gray, who works at the University of Otago, who's a lead administrator and co-convener of that site. So thank you both for coming in.
Thank you.
So I guess I'll start off with you, Deborah. So what made you stand up and want to become a delegate?
I was tired of what was going on at work. We'd had a change of management and really there were a lot of issues at work, and I got sick and tired of asking questions and not getting answers. Couldn't find a delegate half the time, and so somebody said, well, if you can't find one, then you need to do it yourself. So that's when I thought, right, okay, that's what I'll do. And so I started being a delegate.
True story.
And that is true. And so but I really enjoy it now. It's taken me a little while to get into it. And yeah, it's really good. They give you good training, they give you good support. I recommend being a delegate to anybody because it is really good growth stuff.
Thanks, Deborah. Thanks. And Lucy, I'll put you on the spot here as well, and I guess I'll ask the same question. So, yours is a comparatively longer journey. You've been in the role a bit longer. So, what was your pathway?
Well, it was a bit more than 10 years ago, and we were in a position where we didn't have a good relationship with our employer. We had a strike. We were a very feisty and loud strike. That was a parade around the entire university campus. It was really energising. There was a lot of energy, a lot of yelling and the chanting. And I thought, gee, this feels, because I've been a member for a long time, I thought, oh, this feels really good. I want to be more involved in this. This feels like I'm actually part of something that can initiate change. So I became a delegate, and I was lucky enough to get my tenure badge, I think a couple of years back, so just as an indication. But to me, it's not something where you stop growing. And it's really good to hear Deborah's story, because actually as a delegate, that initial training is fantastic. It sets you up for the things that you need to do, but you actually need to continue with that because there's always opportunities to learn. So yeah, so it's been quite an interesting journey, and I have to say it's part of my job that I absolutely love.
And I think that particular strike you're talking about got in the ODT and a bit of news media. So two different journeys, but with the same result. It's always about the values and standing up and holding employer accountable. So that's great. So Deborah, I guess support workers are, from my point of view, is bloody hard to organise, right? It's really difficult because you go into homes and you don't have a conventional workplace. So how do you as a delegate organise your workplace?
Well, I do coffee clinics where they can just come in and have a cup of coffee and a biscuit and chat about whatever they need to talk about. We've got a Facebook page. I do emailing, I do cell phones. I might ring one support worker and say, can you tell the other support workers that you get in touch with, tell them to contact me. I use whatever method I can find to contact somebody, whether it's dropping stuff off at the office, whatever I have to do, I do. I sometimes tell my clients, you can tell that if they say something about a support worker, I say, tell them to get hold of me, they'll find me on Facebook. So I just use any method that I can because we don't get together enough. And that's the only way I can do it. And I've got another, Kim, who's the other Access delegate. She's got different bunches of friends to me, so we kind of work in together to make sure we're trying to cover everybody. And at the moment I'm just building a database, like what Lucy said, for emails. So I'm just getting that organised now. Yeah.
That's good. And I guess from an organiser's point of view and a delegate, access to workers, if you don't have that access or it's less visible, that's a real barrier. And I think your space of work is probably the most challenging workplace as well. We've also got those posters.
These posters.
Which is a good visual, which is all around the offices. So that's good, and that's all the delegates. So members can walk into the office, do their timesheet and all that, and they know who's where. And it's something quite simple, but it's actually pretty useful, because I know I've received heaps more phone calls from members as a result, so it's doing its job, so that's good. And Lucy, I guess same kind of question. So you're at the University of Otago. It's a huge campus. Everyone's there, arguably physically, but it's still a huge campus. How do you do it?
It is quite hard, and I think one of the issues is too, we've just gone through management change. A lot of people have moved around. We've got a core group of about 8 or 9 delegates, and we meet face-to-face monthly, so we try and do that February through to November. And that gives us an opportunity not just to hear the reports back from the team, so there's myself and Dean Johnston, we're the co-conveners of the delegate group, and we tag team a lot of things. He and I will go to meetings with the Vice-Chancellor or with the Director of HR, and then we have the opportunity to feed back to our delegates, and then the expectations for delegates and then feeding back to the members. Also part of our delegate team, we've got Gail Arthur. Gail Arthur is an elected Runanga rep, and she's also on the State Sector Committee, and she's also on the PSA board. So this is an opportunity for her to feed back again to the delegate group and spread out. We also use email quite a lot, and we're very thankful for the local office helping us with that, because a lot of our members, as I said, they've moved around, but actually we do have a lot of members that don't have emails because they're working, for example, at the dental school where they don't have easy access to a computer. So we're finding those mechanisms, what works best for those people. Recently we've been trialling using text reminders to go to meetings and things. So it's about making sure that you've got a number of tools in your toolkit for each of the situations. But at the end of the day, I think face-to-face works best, personally. It's how you get to know people.
Thanks, Lucy. So I guess a really good example is why we should be union and a strong workplace is the equal pay settlement. And there was a huge, there was kind of a union movement, wider union movement outcome and struggle. So can you tell us a bit about that, because that impacted directly with support workers?
That directly impacted support workers majorly. So some support workers were doing at least 50 hours a week just to make ends meet, basically. And so with the pay rise, we've now been able to cut our hours down to 30 to 40, a lot of us. I think the pay rise, not only did it give us a pay rise, but it gave us more confidence that actually people believe that we were actually doing a decent job. We're not there just to wipe people's butts and wipe down their bench. We're actually people that do a decent job, and we keep people out of homes in the end of the day, or out of hospital. So I think it gave us that, and I think it made the support workers more united, to be fair, because before that, it didn't matter whether you're in the union or not, support workers didn't really care about each other, but I think it made us a bit more united, and they're more keen now.
And did we get some membership growth from that?
Yeah, we did get some membership growth from that one, yeah, we did.
So it's before my time, I was still on the West Island at that stage, so yeah, so that was a huge outcome, so that was great. That was great, Deborah. So you've gone from the minimum wage to well above the living wage.
Yeah, I'm above the living wage now, yeah.
So that's great.
And there's a process that you can actually get up there now. Whereas before there was no process for any of that, really. Not a very good process.
No worries, thanks, Deborah. And I guess so Lucy, so you're involved in, PSA's got, a few networks, and, it's a big thing, so you're not just involved in your site, you're involved in the women's network. How's that going?
It's really interesting, actually. I was fortunate enough to go to when the PSA Women's Network was re-energised, if you like. I was fortunate enough to go along to the conference, and I did spend some time on the National Committee with Gail Arthur, who also is located with me at University of Otago. And we both really, women's rights issues and women's workplace issues are really important to us. And I think for me, I'm in a workplace where we have very different issues, if you like, to what Deborah does. And to me, it was just absolutely superb to be able to be a supporter, a champion for equal pay and pay equity, and really benefited from going to the PSA organised events, whether they be conferences or workshops, where we were given the tools to educate people in the workplace about what is equal pay. Because essentially, it might not affect me directly, but it is going to affect me indirectly. As Deborah said, caring about people, our elderly, it's a very important part of our whole lives. And to me, pay equity is something that it'll be great to see it when it's legislated, and it's really awesome. The PSA Women's Network has been, and PSA as an organisation has been really integral to that movement. Yes. So I wear the t-shirt with pride. Yes,
you are. There it is, front and centre. That's great, Lucy. Deborah, so you attended a PSA CPS Emerging Leaders Forum in Wellington towards the end of last year. So how did that? What did you like? Was it worthwhile? And what did you think?
It was worthwhile. I went up with Come Down There Delegate, and it was my first thing that I'd ever been to anything like that. And it was good because I met other people who work in my sector but have the same issues that we have with my company, and so we were able to share some ideas. It was fun. We had some fun, so it was good to have some fun, and just some networking of other people that if I've got some issue, I can actually go and bounce some ideas off. I've got some other people to do that with now, and just I think the overall encompassing that they actually believe in you as a delegate was really good. So yeah, it was quite, and it was informative. Like we learned lots of stuff. I didn't know a lot about the PSA.
I see the role of Organiser as really about building power. Whether you're a home care support worker, an administrator, a corrections officer, you deserve to go to work and be valued for the work that you do. A strong union is where members are active and participate in their workplace. The more organised the work site usually means the more positive the outcomes are for members. The ability to collectivise and to improve their workplace conditions and wages means that they can be aspirational and take some control of their destinies. So finally, my approach to union organising I adopt are the principles found in this book, The Starfish and the Spider. It speaks about the spider or the CEO versus the starfish and the catalyst model. Spider models are CEO, top-down, authoritarian and hierarchical, have a culture of low trust, where the starfish approach is a high trust, where everyone's accountable and everyone is drawn to an ideology, and there's a culture of creativity. If you cut off a spider's head off, it dies, but if you cut off a starfish's leg, it grows back, and that leg can regenerate itself. So the notion there is we have a workplace with delegates who represent the members, but the members are all accountable as well. The decisions and the ideas are from the rank and file members and the membership, and the delegates takes it up to the subgroup committee or sector committee. But the idea is that the decisions are made from the ground floor. The organising approach, or the bottom-up model, is about giving members agency. Effectively, you foster all of the starfish qualities in the workplace. Creating accountability, high trust, independent, they are the decision makers, and you effectively empower workers to support the delegates and to organise on the ground. This is how we build workplace power. It's a duty of all trade unionists not to accept the status quo and to work towards their utopia.